the Obama administration and the Pentagon are now preparing to launch a multilateral invasion of Libya with the complicity of the United Nations and NATO.
He called for the invasion of Libya, that an international response is being prepared. Here we are on the verge of yet another country being invaded. This is on record, triggered by the same banks that have hijacked our country and hijacked Europe. Again, Obama condemns Libyan violence, calls for international response, and says that in the days previous they are preparing to intervene with military force.
Military intervention, quote, is something which I hope doesn't happen, but it looks as though at some point that it should happen, said Simon Henderson, senior fellow at the Washington Institute for Near East Policy. So now we've got all these big globalist NGOs coming out, laying the groundwork for this military invasion of Libya. As the crisis escalates, we've got the entire global corporate establishment media in cahoots, aggressively pushing Gaddafi as this horrible dictator, which he is, but he is a horrible dictator with the aid of British-made weapons, which are now being used to subjugate his own population. And of course, they have to portray Gaddafi as the monster who kills his own people, just as they did with Saddam Hussein, who they also sold the weapons to do so, to create that pretext for, quote, humanitarian military intervention. And now you have two of the most odious and self-serving lawmakers in the history of the United States, Lieberman and McCain, saying that Obama should arm the rebels there in Libya, which of course the whole rebel campaign is being run out of Washington, D.C., as we documented.
You need to know that there is a global government forming that has engineered this financial collapse to create a post-industrial world where you're so bankrupt and so broke that you can go under social engineering, government control. You need to know that the entire Middle Eastern situation was triggered by the globalists, by the George Soros type crowd to destabilize the Middle East and then the rest of the world, and use that as a smokescreen to blame the crises that are happening in the banking system on what's happening in the Middle East, when what's happening in the Middle East, the main foundation of it is dollar devaluation. The world uses dollars. Middle East turmoil is going to cause the recession to come back. They're going to blame the depression on it, just as we told you. We understand their game plan. We see what they're doing.